Hey, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's me, the Gorilla, coming to you live on this edition of Strategic Life, powered by Rogue News. We have with us the man of the hour who needs no introduction. We are talking about the one and only John J. Singleton. And, folks, you can find him over at aceofcoins.com, aceofcoins.com, as well as aceofcoins.club. Join his membership subscription club, and you will have access to some killer insight information, as well as having the ability to consult with John and schedule some time with him. And with that being said, John, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Hey, morning. Great.
John, where do you want to take us this morning, man? I mean, you're every single time you come on, people are excited. People want you back on. People are like, hey, this guy's got like the best answers. He's got the best solutions out there. He's got ways of thinking that's outside the box. And most importantly, taking away the FUD, the fear, the uncertainty, and the doubt.
You're gonna love this topic that I just came up with then.
Perfect.
Because I'm gonna start out by saying I'm gonna practice my ability to insult people.
Yes.
You need to do that sometimes. You need to be insulted. And so I'll preface everything I'm gonna tell you guys by this idea. If I say something that is insulting, and let's say 5 people hear it and 2 people are insulted and 3 are not, does that mean that what I said was insulting, or does that mean that people were insulted?
It just means people were insulted.
Yeah. So if you're insulted by what I'm telling you, I'm sorry about that, but hopefully you'll stay tuned in and listen, and hopefully it will help you. I'll tell you, so I don't really care what other people think. If you call me and you ask me for help, and especially if you're paying me for something, I especially don't care what you think because I'm going to do what you asked me to do. All right. So I was talking to this one lady a couple of months ago. She's a high net worth person, and she did some really stupid things. And I don't like to, I'm not really criticizing people and call them stupid, but I said, well, that's not the best way to do something. And I explained why. And she felt a little insulted. I could tell. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the conversation, she actually said, she goes, I appreciate everything. She goes, and by the way, and she had already paid me for the call, by the way. She said, I just want to say, I appreciate what you're telling me. Most people don't talk to me that way. And it's refreshing. So I'm not trying to insult people, but I've done this call before a couple of years ago. Maybe I should do it more because I still have conversations with people on the subject about the best use of capital and pension funds and the shenanigans in Wall Street. All right. And this is where we get into our preconceptions and stereotypes of what we should be doing with money. So I just love that example of the 2008 foreclosure crisis. I just think that Wall Street ran out of suckers. They created the mortgage-backed securities, right, from 1987. So it gave all these guys something to sell, something more to sell. And they ran out of suckers to sell it to, pension funds. So they had to go into foreign markets. Mm-hmm. And when they went into foreign markets, think about it like this. If you're a fund manager and you have to buy something that's making money, and if you don't, you're probably going to get fired, right? So if the mortgage-backed securities offer is making money and it's fraud, or maybe you suspect it is, and your colleagues are saying, you got to do it. You got to do it. What are you going to do? You're going to buy it. And so that's what happened. We got all these, people in the industry to correct me if I'm wrong. You're more in tune to this than I am, BJ. That's what I think anyways.
Yeah.
We have the pension funds over there. So here's what happens. So you have all these securities that relate to consumer mortgages that are a pretty stable market. But when you do what they did, well, I'm not going to get too far into it, and you run out of people to buy it, pension funds. So you have to go find more pension funds, and you go to other countries, and those countries are going to say, hey, if you want to come in our country and we're going to give you a license, and we're going to have you register, and we're going to, all this, and you're going to be accountable to us. You're going to make good on these things. And I think that the Wall Street players knew this, and they made it to where I watched this happen, that these judges would allow the foreclosures on these instruments, even though they were fraud, even though there was forgeries and frauds and things of that nature. I think that's what happened.
We have we talk about fraud. I mean, look at the whole tech stocks these days. You have 7 companies that are jerking each other off. It's the only reason why the economy is up. It's literally 7 companies that are jerking each other off. What a country! What a country we live in.
So that's another. We got to talk about the stock market too. This is going to be in the conversation, but let me just jump back because we're insulting people. Let me just stay on that track. Okay,
I love it.
You guys know how we were victimized, right? We're such victims. All right, so you guys out there, the audience, many of you, for one reason or another, allow your company that you work for to allocate money for a pension fund.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to pay tax on that part of your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, what a huge victory that is. Then, to hold the carrot in front of the horse or mule or whatever, you're going to get, a tax break in 30 to 40 years. Or it's going to carry through for this time, right? 30 until you retire. This is the idea. So you're out your capital for this time in your life, this prime time in your life, where you're learning, where you can take risk, and your risk tolerance is maybe 100%. But no. You're not going to take the risk. You're instead going to put it into a safe fund that you're going to be rewarded with a tax break at the end. And supposedly this fund will have appreciated in value, hopefully better than inflation. Okay. So this is where people are chumps when they're doing this, because think about it. What is going on with the pension fund? If you shouldn't be investing your money, if you shouldn't be looking for private equity and opportunity and putting it into a down payment on a restaurant, that's a great example. I mean, that's a huge example. Who's going to do that? I mean, there's probably enough assets in your neighborhood that almost everybody can own a part of it. Just think about it like that. You're not going to run out of assets, so don't worry about that. But somebody wants your money and came up with a pretty good offer for you that sounds pretty good, that you're going to get a tax break for so long. And you're going to give up the opportunity, the opportunity to use your capital. Well, why would you do that? Well, you think the tax break is a good idea, and you think that the regular income that you're betting on that's going to be there when you retire is a good idea. But somebody else thinks it's a better idea that he takes your money now and invests it somewhere.
Yeah. Craziness.
Yeah. Aren't you looking at the other side of that transaction? Why would you want this money? If you're telling me it's such a great thing to wait for my tax benefits and you use my money in the meantime, what are you doing with my money? Let's say I really made like 8%. Okay, fantastic. That sounds pretty good. I could probably do really well when I retire and I rely solely on that income. If I'm making 8%, the guy that told me it's a good idea is what? He's making 9%?
He's making 16%, man. If
he's making 16, more than
20%, that. Maybe even 30%, and he's telling you, oh yeah, yeah, here you go. Here's 8%. Be happy.
All right. So what do you think his risk tolerance is?
His risk tolerance?
Very high. It's not his money.
It's not his money. He has a high risk tolerance.
100%.
He has no problem with that.
So what's happening there? I mean, so what claim can you make on a pension fund when you don't have a right to receive the money yet? You haven't retired. You got to shut up. If you're in that pension fund and you're letting money be, sent out there, and someone's gambling with your money, I like to say gambling because it's more dramatic. You can't say anything about it. It's a pension fund. It's not a loan. You have to wait because you don't have standing to challenge the investor. You gave that up. What a sweet deal that is. So I don't know. I mean, what about the stock market? Why would you sell a company? Visa and MasterCard just sold, but Visa and MasterCard were private for what, decades, right?
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when a company goes IPO, what people talk about, the company is selling, it's being sold. Why would you sell an asset? You got a better one? Probably not. It's time to cash out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is what Peter Thiel did this morning.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if you saw what Mr. Thiel has done, but it's always a good sign when and I have the article right here. It's always a good sign when the main guy is getting out of all of this.
Actually, can I make it a little bit worse for you guys?
Yeah, tell us.
The 13Fs, by the time we see those reports, I believe they're over 30.
What are the 13Fs?
13F
for the lay people.
Sure. A 13F is a report where large companies have to reveal what assets they have or what positions they're in the market. So by the time we've heard about Peter Thiel selling all of his NVIDIA, it's probably happened a month ago. Same with Michael Burry and his stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. That's terrible.
Yeah. But we're all still trying to chase that dollar.
We're all a bunch of schmucks. That's what it is. We're trying
to be like Warren Buffett. We're just trying to do like that. We're trying to be like Michael Jordan. I remember when I was in school, I'm trying to be like Michael Jordan.
Every day.
My brother and I try to, slam back the ball on that. Be like Mike. So that's what we're trying to do in the real world with our money. And, only like 3% of the people in the stock market are actually professional investors.
Correct.
And those people are using other people's money. So, I mean, maybe it's okay to put some money. I mean, I know there's some people probably that made money in NVIDIA or whatever. I mean, I don't know. Is that a viable thing? Does that look like something in the future?
I mean, hey man, it's like we're not going to give what's it called investment advice, but I mean, do with your money as you will. Seek professional consulting. But in terms of me, it's just like if you if you think a company's worth more than the entire whole of Germany, more than an entire country called Germany, and valued at $5 trillion. By only selling graphics cards. Hey, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you.
All right, so I asked that not for advice, but I have a client who's got 45 billion holding in there in NVIDIA. So I wonder if it's a good one to hold. But it seems like good technology, but I don't think it's worth that much. I'm a layman.
It's not. It's not at all. It's not at all.
What happens when it gets evaluated like that? People just sell it. They say, "Okay, I quit."
Just being financialized to the hilt, man. It's unbelievable.
That's it. Okay, all right. Too much risk. Well, I mean, think about this. So we talk about IPO, right? So somebody's selling for a reason. Maybe he's managing risk. Maybe he's want to take on a different type of risk. Maybe he's taking his profits, and so you're the buyer of this stock. Well, public equities are stock. I think it's a way that someone else is using you to take on some risk, which is fine because you want to take on the risk to make money. So you got to take on risk to do that. But is it a good risk? So what do you know? I mean, you could forecast the trends, right?
Yeah.
But look at the internals. Look what they're doing. Is it worth it? So is someone, maybe taking advantage, for public equities? I don't know. But we have these other things going on too. Like you're going to save cash. You're going to save cash, right? And put it. So if you were to instead of putting it in your 401k or your IRA, now some employers are matching funds, and you almost can't avoid that because that's matching funds. That's pretty good free money. My plan would be as quickly as feasible is borrow money out of there if I can and buy something that makes money. Yeah. But saving cash is just, again, that's just going to keep you poor. When the people around you that you're driving around, you're driving through your neighborhood and you're looking around at all the buildings and businesses, and those are largely funded by other people's money. But yet you still are putting your own cash aside to invest it. But you're driving around, the opposite world is around you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, but we are participating in all this. So, well, we can bash all these funds and everything, but what the heck? It's like what we talk about here. Okay, so I can bash all this, and people say, okay, then what do you think, John? What's the alternative? What else should we do? Well, I think you should control your money, and you should look for opportunity where when you invest something for real, you're actually making an investment, meaning that you control something, you make decisions on the thing, and that you actually look at the money, you look at the balance sheet of the thing you're buying.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Let's say I buy an MLM downline, just as an example. Let's say someone wants to sell his downline. Maybe the guy who owned it died and his wife inherited it and she hates it, because the guy was never home, right? He was doing MLM, right? So she wants to sell it. All right. So it has a balance sheet and it's worth something, and that's what you want to look at. That's private equity. Private equity is the answer to that question. Right. And you don't necessarily need to own something like that. I mean, that's a nice downline, but you could own stock in a company. You could own shares in a family limited partnership that's your local breakfast shop. There's plenty of those deals out there.
And how does one find these deals, John?
So one way to do it is to find a business broker and tell them you want to buy a business, and do it in your neighborhood.
Is there a like a good website that you recommend to find these brokers?
I would do it. Yeah, there's many of them. There's too many of them. What I would do is search on business broker and then put the name of your city on the internet. Pick your favorite search engine, and just keep calling around. And so sometimes you got to run into like these automated super big systems where you're not going to ever talk to anybody, and they want to, they want all your data first. So find a broker that you can actually call up and talk to on the phone. Maybe he has to call you back or something, but a real broker that maintains listings of businesses for sale. And the part of the reason why you do that is because it's faster. You can find something, you can find 12 of the thing you're looking for, and he can help qualify them, but he will also help qualify you. He will make sure you're going to be a good buyer. He doesn't want to go to his sellers with someone who doesn't have the funds or the business structure and the knowledge to engage in an intelligent conversation with his client. So he's going to help you. He's going to help you all kinds of ways. And many times it won't cost you money up front. See, that's another reason, go through a broker, a business broker. Don't try to do it all yourself. You can also talk to somebody talk to a guy who knows a guy, right? You can buy someone a lunch, and there's no free lunch, but maybe there is. You buy somebody lunch, and that person will likely be amenable to telling you all kinds of things, especially if you're new to a town. This is not stuff you're ever going to hear from a financial planner. This is what we do, though. I mean, we talk. This is how V knows. We talk to people. Yeah,
this is called networking, folks. This is how you really network.
Yeah, and go with professionals that can step in your place. So, if I'm selling let's say I'm selling a laundromat or a car wash, and some dude walks up, that's me. I walk up, some guy's selling it, and I walk up and I say, "Hey, can I buy your place?" He'd be like, "Well, get out of here, man. What are you talking about?" But if my broker calls him on the phone and makes an appointment and does it, he's going to be taken seriously, and I'm going to have standing. I'm going to have social standing. That's good. That's another thing that you can do, is have someone represent you. You can also have an attorney represent you. Just be careful about getting the attorney involved, okay? You need to tell the attorney what to do. Don't ask the attorney what to do. If you're asking him, don't hire him. So those of you out there who think I'm telling you to go hire an attorney to help you find a business, to help you because you don't know what you're doing, stop right there. Don't use an attorney. Go do it the hard way. Go talk to some people. Go to a restaurant. Ask if you talk to the owner. Ask for a tour of the kitchen if it's a nice restaurant, okay? If that appeals to you. I wouldn't go into restaurants because that takes some knowledge. It takes some experience, okay? You can't just go off and buy a restaurant. The market is very hot there. It's very competitive in most markets that are worth getting into. But what you can do is get into something like, car wash. You can see them in your neighborhood. If there's new ones popping up, see if you can buy one, or buy an old one and turn it into a new one. Laundromats, dry cleaners, things of that nature. What I really like is the mechanic shops where they change the oil. I think that's a gold mine. It's a gold mine.
Yeah.
But I'm not, so V and I, we talk about things like, strategic life, right? This is how we title the show. And it's about having a plan. So for most people, their plan for using money is get a job and pay the bills. They don't even look at the net present value for their income. They don't even know what that is. They don't look at the time value of money. They think paying off consumer debt is a great idea. There's even videos. On YouTube that are talking about how a person paid off his mortgage in 7 years. Why would you do that? Why would you learn how to do that? Because then what? Now you have what? Your cash tied up into some liability.
Oh yeah, absolutely right.
So keep the dang mortgage. Right. Get more mortgage money. Get more debt. Okay, 100% mortgage is too much, I think. But for many of us, 50 to 85% mortgage debt, it could be used. If you have that kind of equity in your property. Let's say you have equity and you really, really, really want a second car. It's a fun car, right? For the weekends or something. I don't know. So you get the equity out, but you don't buy the car. You buy something that makes money. Maybe it's a $40,000 car wash or something, and use that to buy the. Yeah, and then borrow money to buy the car. So now your car wash is making the payments on the car. or whatever. That's what I would
exactly.
Yeah.
One income stream takes care of the other. The income stream pays for the asset.
It's a set off.
Yeah.
Always set off. So if you're asking yourself, should I get a lump sum payment and pay off a debt? Okay, if you're a sucker, if you're a chump, yeah, okay, do that. We'll make fun of you, and you deserve it. Yeah. But if you have a little bit of just to take a little extra work and go find something that makes money.
But what about the credit reporting agencies, John?
Yeah.
What about Equifax and Transcrack?
They are there. They are there. So I don't know. I mean, you're not trying to work for them, or are you?
Exactly. It's like what you and I always say, man. If you're in your 40s and you're still using personal credit, man, you're not doing it right.
You messed up. Or if you're still making your resume look good, you fail.
Yeah,
you fail.
Exactly. If you're in your 40s and your 50s, you're still working on making your resume look good. You haven't figured this out, dude. You haven't figured this out.
So, the original part about insulting people. So, look, if you're in IRAs and 401ks and let's say you're 10 years away from benefiting from your decision you made a long time ago, I'm not going to really, criticize that so much. Go ahead and follow through on what your plans were, I think. But if you're maybe 15 years out or maybe 20 years out or more, or you're new, you're looking at it, it's a possibility, people are presenting you with the opportunity of being in these 401ks or whatever. I would just suggest really consider what you could do with your increasing wages. Let's say you're working at a job and imagine you're going to get more money every year as you get promoted and whatnot. Imagine what you could do with increasing wages if you just take the responsibility and set it aside. Now, I'm not saying save it for 20 years. I'm saying set it aside so that in, let's say 3 years, you can go do something with it that makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with the precious metals. On the precious metals, I've talked to so many people that say, I've held my gold for 20 years. And I say, you're just a loser. That's why I say,
but it's done great.
I know some people are insulted, even though I'm smiling. I know you're still insulted. I'm sorry about that. But if you're holding gold or precious metals for a long time because you're waiting for it to go up and you're waiting for all these people to talking about gold is going to be $900 an ounce or whatever, silver 900. I've heard that for 20 years.
Yeah. And
who cares? It's not going to make you rich. Look, the people that are running those markets, they are not going to let you have a windfall. They're not going to let you.
It's like this, right? I think even if precious metals go to like $10,000-$20,000 an ounce, right? The fact of the matter is you're just parking something somewhere, and your strategy is hope. And look, I'm a big metals guy, right? And the thing is that I mean, in the new paradigm, that we're entering the world, gold's going to play a major part, but just to park something somewhere versus putting something to work is an entirely different ballgame,
Look at all these mechanisms in our society that get people to think it's a good idea to tie up your cash. Okay, precious metals is one. Cryptos is another. People think they're investing in cryptos. You're not investing in cryptos. You are speculating.
Yeah. And look, here's the thing with the cryptos. Yeah. There's no use case scenario for cryptos. I mean, it's 2025 going into 2026. I still cannot go anywhere in the United States and buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. I can't do it, and it's like many other people can't do it. So it's like, it's very, well, so what is the real purpose? Why is Bitcoin $100,000? And why is, all these cryptos in $1 trillion market? It's all speculation.
It's all speculation, but also
100%.
Governments are using these technologies to save their asses because their currency is failing. Our currencies are failing. They have to. Yeah. So we need something. We need a new population of new users there are no new markets to take the dollar.
Well, it's collateral. So Bitcoin is a way they can make money. And that's why you see it, at BlackRock and places like that.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So just think about it. You put your cash, make it work for you. Maybe you have to set it little aside for a short period of time, but for long periods of time, you're just losing money fast. You're just losing money, even faster now because it's failing faster.
Yeah.
I did hear something that fits into this where a lot of your ultra wealthy, and V, you speak better to this than I can, but they look at gold as not gaining your value or increasing your financial power. It's more about like freezing it.
Yeah,
it's more about freezing it. So money is going backwards, gold is freezing it, and then like doing business is going to make it go forward. Is kind of the way.
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it, Cowboy.
I look at it like I'm playing the game of Monopoly, which is very parallel to what we're talking about. I'm playing the game of Monopoly, and maybe I'm not doing so well, right? Or maybe my opponent has too many rentals, and I don't want to land on them. So when I get sent to jail, I just stay there for as long as I can. Because I figure the less times I have to go around the board, it might balance out or something, So yeah, you want to get out there and use your money and you want to be in the game and take risk and put it somewhere. And the younger you are, the more risk tolerance you have. Anyways, so truly, I'm not trying to insult people, but some people may be insulted. But look, if you feel insulted, just step back a little bit and just maybe recognize that you don't have a certain type of knowledge or you believe the wrong thing. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, because there's a paradigm that's affecting the way that you're thinking, and it's always good to think outside the box by somebody who has the experience to think outside the box and is not bound by whatever paradigm you're bound by. Yeah.
And so another way, just real quick to I say private equity. Does that mean grandma has to go out and buy a laundromat? No. Or, I'm just saying, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and just to run with this idea, look around you and see who you're associated with and see if there's something you could do that's mutually beneficial with another organization or individual, someone where maybe he's associated with many people or has a product or something that he's not really doing well with marketing, and you maybe have access to a market or something that you could do a joint venture with, Maybe you see a piece of real estate in your town where it's not being used on Sunday, and you can maybe do a joint venture with the owner to generate capital from that period of time on that land. Maybe it's maybe it's a business that's closed on Sunday, right? And it's got like 3 acres of grass. Maybe you can have an event there, and have other people pay for it. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do. I watched one of the parents at a couple of years ago. My children were in jiu-jitsu, and one of the parents got his credit card out and reserved a nice site where you could have matches, jiu-jitsu matches. And he got the pads and rented the pads and everything. And it was so easy to make like 4 phone calls and fill the place up on Saturday. Fill the place up. And I kind of did an estimate as to how much money the guy made. It was like $6,000 on a Saturday. Wow. Yeah. I know what he did. I know how to do that. He just called some people. He called up the other gyms and said, "Hey, I'm doing a tournament and everybody wants to go." It's like a party, everybody's going to go. So it was a really slick idea, and he still does it, and many other people can do that. But I mean, all these opportunities are all around you. So have some creativity and look around. You don't have to get another job. What I'm saying is you're not trying to get another job. You're trying to create more money.
Correct.
Yeah. And
just don't do that.
Don't believe this nonsense about, you need a pension fund and when you're retired and all that. Okay, fine. It'd be nice if you had, but imagine if when it's time to retire and you've done some of these things, like you had 100% risk tolerance at age 28 and you try some things and you lost $150,000 2 times. Well, you're 34. Okay, well, keep on doing that, right? So by the time you're 60, the odds are well in your favor that you will have a net worth that will make a pension fund look like an insult. That will be the insult.
Yeah, exactly.
You will.
You're right.
So, hey, can you speak to using options, like not stock options on the market, but you've talked before about a contract that is effectively an option to buy businesses in your community?
Sure. There's a mechanism of finance. So that's an aspect of what I'm talking about. So people say it's out of reach because they can't get financing. Well, you don't know the different ways of getting financing. And that's a great question. One way to get financing is to you make an offer to the seller or make an offer to someone who's not selling, who might want to sell, and you make the offer and then ask him to finance it. And if he'll finance it, and there's a way to get him you sell him on that idea also. There's a way to get someone to finance a business very easily. It's a numbers game, okay? And one of the mechanisms you can use is get a contract that gives you the option to acquire the property later, the title of the business later. And so that gives you more time to obtain more different types of financing, or use the owner to be the lender using your options contract. There was a gentleman who was telling me he was going around on the internet just like a consumer, just looking at different businesses selling consumer goods. And when he found his candidate, which I don't know what his profile criteria were, but he would call up the business owner and he would offer to buy it for X dollars, and he could assign contract. And he would write the contract almost like an options contract. So then what he would do is he would then sell that contract. So he would take the spread on the business and he would just go find the customer. He would go find the buyer. So he wasn't really the buyer. He was the broker. But because he has an interest in the deal, he doesn't need a license. He could just do that all day long. It's just paperwork. Yeah. It's just knowing how to qualify. So, there's all kinds of things like that. But sure, an options contract is a great way to buy an asset through financing. It is a financing tool. So that gets rid of many excuses of people out there saying, but I don't have the money. My Uncle Bob won't lend it. The bank won't lend it. My credit's bad. Well, you got to be creative. That's what the options contract is for.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. So don't make decisions, important, lifelong, changing financial decisions for a measly tax break that you might have 30 years from now. That's just not. Yeah. And when it concerns your credit, you're better off, in my opinion, having access to your cash than your credit score. So if it means having access to cash means my credit score is going to suffer, let the credit score suffer. Get your cash and make an intelligent decision and go get something that's making you some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well said, John. Anything else you want to touch base upon?
Well, I think I was meeting with a gentleman yesterday. He's 22. I thought he was like 55 the way he was talking. I can't believe there are some kids out there that really, I think they have a handle on things. And this guy's involved in cryptos in other countries in a way where they're creating like a banking system. And he's not the only one. They're just out there. And so he wants somebody to be part of it, like in a consulting type arrangement. But what he was telling me was what we already understand, that the future of using currency, if you're going to be able to create currency like the cryptos in the crypto world, or like the banking system has this little priesthood of creating currency, and it's been pretty well controlled for several centuries. But now that we have this new technology, we still need a way to control the production or the issuance of these coins. And so that's why you have the Genius Act, okay? And what they're doing is tokenizing, as the term is, they tokenize the land. They tokenize natural resources so that there can be value. And it was interesting, I find, correct me if I'm wrong here, but aren't they tokenizing things like people are tokenizing them that they don't even own the thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're tokenizing something that exists.
And that's what, and this is what has BlackRock has such a hard on for this. They're like, Larry Fink is like, oh, we're heading for the tokenization of all assets, of all real world assets. And it's incredible that's the direction that we're headed, and that's the direction that they want, because it's more control for them, less control for us, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, the Genius Act, okay, that opens the door for, so far it looks like everybody. If you're willing to undertake the effort and get the technology and everything, not just the BlackRock creatures, but maybe that's a limited time. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I just, I talked about this on a video a couple of years ago, and I just want to bring it up again and just realize when your money's getting tied up by a third party who's using your money in a way that you could be using your money, and you have to ask, why am I letting him do that? I should be doing that. Right. I think I can make better decisions. Just like when I was in my gosh, I probably think I was 19. And I got promoted to this full-time position for the first time ever. And at this company, it was now, back then it became a division of Equifax, ironically. But anyways, when I was in the orientation meeting, I was presented with all these 401k, IRA type things and life insurance and all this. And I'm 19, I don't have any dependents. So I just kind of, rejected everything, and everybody else in the room was like 35 or 40, and they thought it was a great idea, and they were looking at me like I was from Mars because I wasn't signing any of that stuff. And I said, look, I just want my paycheck. Because she asked me, the woman who was doing the orientation, she said, John, these are really good things. You can see everybody else is doing that here. And I'm thinking to myself, that's why I'm not going to do it, because everybody here is doing it. Right. At least there's that much, right? And I didn't have a clue about anything about using money. I didn't even understand what net present value was, even though I learned it in algebra. I still didn't even see how that was going to be a thing. And so when I went back to my office, my boss came in and said, John, it was a really good idea to have signed all this. And I said, no, I think I'm good. I just want my paycheck. I think I will figure out what to do with my money. And I would just suggest that this is a good attitude to have, even if you think you don't know anything. Try to find a good use of your money if you don't know, and you will.
Yeah. Exactly, because it's never lack of resources, it's lack of resourcefulness.
Exactly. Yeah. You will come up, if you try to do it, you will come up with a way to make money, and you don't need a lot of money to do that. Just need some resourcefulness. Absolutely.
Exactly. And with that being said, folks, we are at the end of the show. Again, folks, you want to go get a lot of these incredible insights that really do make a bottom line difference in your life. Get a hold of John over at aceofcoins.com and join aceofcoins.club. Powerful insights, powerful tools. And let's go into 2026 making money, putting capital to work, not sitting on the sidelines wondering what the heck to do with your life. Let's get a move on, guys. We got some time to make some serious killings. So, John, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Yep.
Cheers.